Hey, welcome to another Logo Day. This is the seventh program in our series, and I'm hoping that you've enjoyed them so far. Today is a relatively simple process in that I put a little fan out there to represent maybe an HVAC system or whatever item that might be used to move air. What we're going to do today is just talk a little bit about air ventilation. And one of the things that I've discovered is that, like the room that I'm in the hotel, the light switch is tied to the exhaust fan. So when I get done taking a shower, I can get dried off and do all of that stuff. And then when I get ready to leave, I turn the lights off, and then the exhaust fan shuts off, leaving all that moisture in the room. Wouldn't it be nice if we just had the fan on a delay, maybe a 1 or 2 minute delay, so that it could still run and then turn off, after a time period? Now, rather than trying to get some type of control to measure the humidity in the room and see how much the moisture content is, we could just run it for a short amount of time. The other thing that was always disturbing is that at my home, I'd have two switches. I'd have a switch for the fan, and then we had a switch for the light. So they were two separate items. And I can remember going into the bathroom after several hours, and the exhaust fan is still running. And when energy is as expensive as it is, all of that hot air is being pushed out into the atmosphere, where it's actually being sucked out of other rooms if that exhaust fan is left on. So a timer on our exhaust fan might be a good idea, and we're going to go ahead and do that today. Now, the fan that I have, as you look at the video right now, is down in the lower right hand corner, and I put some yellow or some white dots on there with a with that stuff that you paint when you need a correction on your paper. And that's a little fan out of a computer, matter of fact, and it's 24 volts. But it'll really suit our purposes today to simulate what we want to do. Now, I still have the two push buttons there. Actually, might be better if we had a light switch, but we can still simulate that push button up there by using the latching relay that we've done in the last 4 or 5 assignments. So let's go ahead and start with that. And this should be fairly simple now. Remember that the inputs 1 and 2 are connected to the logo at the top. And this, as we said, is input 1, and this is input 2. I have that on our machine. Let me just point those out with a pen. Right there then is the input number 1, input number 2. The red wire here is our positive 12 volts, and the black one then is the negative. And we use those inputs to power up both the logo and the relay pack. We've gone over that before, and let's just, since you've seen all this before, let's just call this short for PB, push button. Let me just do it in all caps. Let's call it PB1. And down here then, let's make this PB2. Change the font so it appears a little bit nicer on the camera. There it is. Boy, this computer's running so slow today. And let's do this one then. Okay. So there they are, PB1 and PB2. Let's get our latching relay way down here at the bottom. Now, if you remember correctly, what a latching relay does is that allows these push buttons to hold the position, just like it would do with a normally, just like with a light switch. So it would turn it on, and then we have a separate button for the off. It's just the way our panel is wired. I don't have wall switches, those types of things on our controller, so we'll just go with it that. Now, real simple then. So we need our fan, and our fan is connected to input number 4. So let's switch that out to number 4. It's actually coming in at right underneath where the yellow cord is. It's right underneath that one. And then let's call it fan. Let's call it our fan. Okay. All right. So let's push this one way down here because we're gonna need to put the lights in here now. So we have another output, so we'll do the yellow light 1, and I believe that's input number 5. Let's see if we can get this thing to pop up over here. And so abbreviate this, yellow light 1. Yellow light 1, come on baby, yellow light 1, and then let's get this is 7, this will be 7, and this will be yellow light. The only reason I'm picking the yellow lights is they're a little easier to see. Change the font. And let's go down and get our fan. Okay. All right, so wire them up simple. Click here and here. Oh, what's going on there? Okay. Now the other thing then is that we need to run our fan off the same signal, but in the line though, we need to put a delay off because we want that to be off, not right away, but we want it to hold on just for a few minutes before the fan actually shuts off, or before it says we're going out. We want this to stay on. So let's just put this at 20 tenths of a second. Might be too long, but in any case, this will stay on as we look at this system. So, you know, this is a real simple combination. This is something I think that you could probably do in just a few minutes. I haven't spent much time on this one, so as we put this together. All right, so we have it in our system. So let's go through the process then of connecting to the logo. Now, probably should have done this before I actually programmed it all. Actually, I did all that before I turned the video on to record all this stuff because I wanted to make sure it works. But we're going to go through that same process anyways. All right, so first thing in order to make sure that we're connected is I took the Ethernet cord to the PC and I unplugged the internet and I plugged the green cord that you can see up here at the top into the system. The yellow one, the green goes directly into the TDE, which is the window up here that would be on the outside of the panel. We then could plug this into the yellow one, and then the yellow one comes up here to our logo. You can just barely see some of the numbers that are flashing there. So most likely then that it's probably running with the program that I downloaded earlier today. I'm trying different lighting sources so to be able to show you this. We could also put, that we could change. We've got flags, we've got text that we could add where we could actually put a message in here that on this panel, the TDE could be up in the manager's office, or it could be on the front of the door that says, hey, the bathroom light is on, or whatever manufacturing process we have going. We could turn it on. The lights could represent a couple different machines, or it could represent lighting, heat source in paint, or whatever we want to call it. And then we have an exhaust fan then that will remove all of the fumes from the area. Man, I'm telling you, I walked into some gas stations and followed somebody out, and oh man, don't go in there. It would have been nice to have that exhaust fan on just for a little bit longer when they turn the lights out, but then eventually then turn off so that it doesn't suck all the air out of the room and into the atmosphere. So let's go ahead and start with our online, and let's find all of the components that are in this system. There they are. So we have the logo and the TDE. So we found them. Next, we want to connect to them to make sure that, so we want to run a test. Again, this is the IP address that we pulled off of the unit. We've done that many, many times. So let's just go ahead and find it. Oh boy, it's already there. So we know it's online. All right, so let's download it. The download is this arrow right here, which is going down. So the first thing it'll do, it's got to turn off the unit, send the signal over there. You can see the white light up here. And then do we want it to run again? Yep, so it's raring to go. So I'm going to go over and hit the first push button, and that should latch everything in place. So we should have the two yellow lights come on, and then our fan should start. Alrighty, so the dots that I put on the fan kind of help us see that that fan is rotating, and you can see that the two yellow lights are on. So what's going to happen then is I'm going to go back over, and then I'm going to hit the stop button, in which our machines will stop, but the fan will continue to run for another 20 tenths of a second until we figure that we have all the room bad airs out of the room exhausted, and the process will stop. So the machines are off. A counter now is counting down. And there you go. So we figured that all of the exhaust has been removed from the system, and Let's try one more time. So we'll turn the first push button on. That'll latch our process, and then hit the second button, and then we'll watch the system react. And there you have it. That's a typical delay off. Last time we were together, we did delay ons and had it reset with a retentive relay. This time we're just using a simple delay off to energize some kind of a fan, whether it be HVAC or exhaust. But there you have it. Hey, that's it for today. We will see you next time.